The apocalyptic Armageddon, the very end of the planet, is a dark theme that many religions around the world have addressed. In Christianity, the last book of the Bible, the Book of Revelation, presents a terrifying vision of catastrophic events, demonic horsemen, and even celestial beings described with multiple eyes. Without a doubt, this is the most peculiar and disturbing text of the entire Bible. It is only natural, then, that I bring this subject into our space. You may have already heard about the Book of Revelation, but perhaps you are not as familiar with its actual content. For example, where does the number 666 truly fit into this narrative? If you are seeking to better understand the biblical apocalypse, you are in the right place, because I have prepared this practical introductory video. Before we begin, it is important to note that I will analyze the Book of Revelation from a secular, non-religious perspective. The book is highly symbolic and was probably never intended to be interpreted literally in many cases. Throughout the video, I will explain the meaning of some of these symbols using interpretations from biblical scholars. The very term apocalypse comes from the Greek and literally means revelation, hence the name of the book. It is, after all, the revelation of something, in this case, the end of the world. There is a long tradition of these apocalyptic writings in the Old Testament, though they are not always related to the end times. Sometimes they are simply astonishing visions of the spiritual realm, like the glimpse of God's throne in the book of Ezekiel, or the dream of the 4 strange creatures in the book of Daniel. The book of Revelation is narrated from the perspective of an individual named John. We know very little about this character. He was not the same John who baptized people in the Jordan River, nor the author of the 4th Gospel. This is a completely different John. In fact, some scholars suggest that this particular John may not even have been a real historical figure. Like many books of the Bible, the Book of Revelation was written and edited by anonymous authors. John may have simply been a pseudonym. It is believed that the earliest part of the book was written around 65 AD during the reign of Emperor Nero, and that it reached its final form around 95 AD during the reign of Emperor Domitian. Both emperors were infamous for their brutal persecutions of the early Christians, a crucial detail for understanding the worldview behind the Book of Revelation, a text composed in a time of terror and oppression for the first followers of Christ. His anxieties are reflected in the pages, containing an impressive collection of visions about the end of the world. Let us now turn to the vision itself. We begin on the peaceful Greek island of Patmos, where our protagonist, John, was exiled. Suddenly, he hears a thunderous voice calling his name. He turns, only to see a spectral figure wrapped in radiant light, surrounded by 7 golden lampstands. This mysterious figure reveals himself to be none other than Jesus Christ, delivering specific messages to 7 churches in Asia Minor, each represented by the lampstands. John's vision continues as he is transported to heaven, where he witnesses a series of celestial and apocalyptic events, including the breaking of seals that unleash divine judgments upon the earth. He describes the rise of the 4 horsemen, symbolizing conquest, war, famine, and death, as well as the opening of the 7 seals, which bring about natural disasters and calamities. John also beholds the final battle between the forces of good and evil, a conflict that culminates in the victory of Christ and the establishment of a new heaven and a new earth. The book concludes with a vision of the heavenly paradise, where the righteous enjoy the eternal presence of God. Though Revelation is often interpreted as a prophecy of the end times, it can also be seen as a symbolic account of the struggle between good and evil and the ultimate triumph of divine justice. This unnamed figure, possibly identified as Jesus, has a striking appearance. He is dressed in white, with eyes like flames, and a sharp, double-edged sword emerging from his mouth. He commands John to write letters to the 7 churches scattered across the Mediterranean, warning them of imminent events. After this, John is taken into heaven, where he beholds a great throne surrounded by 24 smaller thrones. The central throne gleams like precious stones, presumably occupied by God himself. Around the throne are 4 living creatures with multiple eyes, described as a lion, an ox, a being with a human face, and an eagle, all with 6 wings. These creatures appear in a similar vision in the book of Ezekiel, though without the wheel-like beings covered with eyes known as Ophanim. Here, they may symbolize the omniscience of God, though to some they appear terrifying. Then a creature resembling a lamb with 7 horns and 7 eyes, holding a scroll sealed with 7 seals, is revealed. Some associate this figure with Jesus, the Lamb of God. As the seals are broken, the 4 horsemen are released, representing conquest, war, famine, and death. They are given power over 1/4 of the Earth's population. The events of the remaining seals include the appearance of the souls of martyrs, dressed in white, a massive earthquake, and the upheaval of mountains and islands. These events signal the arrival of the apocalypse, as described in the text. With the opening of the 6th seal, a catastrophic earthquake shakes the earth, causing mountains and islands to be displaced from their places. Following this, celestial phenomena are described: the darkening of the sun and the moon turning blood red, marking the climax of the apocalyptic vision. The text suggests that these are symbolic visions of the end of times, natural and supernatural events interwoven to create an image of the final judgment and the consummation of human history. The apocalypse, as described, is a powerful and terrifying account of events to come, offering a glimpse into the final destiny of humanity and the universe itself. If taken literally, such an earthquake would surpass the greatest in recorded history, such as the Valdivia quake of 1960 in Chile, which measured 9.5 on the Richter scale. A tremor of this magnitude would be catastrophic, especially for those living in regions prone to tectonic activity, representing nothing less than a seismic cataclysm. Furthermore, the 6th seal implies a blackened sky. If such continuous darkness were to occur, it would be devastating for the Earth, especially for vegetation, which depends on sunlight for photosynthesis. Interestingly, such events have happened before, most often caused by massive volcanic eruptions. In 536 AD, during what came to be known as the Dark Ages, a colossal volcanic eruption, believed to have occurred in Indonesia, caused what is now called a volcanic winter. Huge amounts of volcanic ash entered the atmosphere, darkening the sunlight and triggering a rapid cooling of the earth. The Byzantine historian Procopius, writing from Constantinople in 536, recorded that the sun gave off its light without brightness and appeared very much like the sun during an eclipse, for the rays it emitted were dim. This phenomenon may have been widespread, plunging the Earth into a true volcanic winter. As if massive earthquakes and volcanic winters were not enough, the 6th seal also describes stars falling from the sky to Earth. The author was likely referring to a meteor shower. While usually harmless, meteor showers become catastrophic when the meteors are large enough not to burn up completely in the atmosphere. A clear example of this is the Tunguska event of 1908, when a meteoroid about 100 meters wide struck eastern Siberia, devastating an enormous forested area. The opening of the 7th seal does not unleash further calamity. Instead, there is silence in heaven for about half an hour, perhaps so that the celestial beings could pause from singing praises to God. The number 7 appears repeatedly throughout the book of Revelation, symbolizing completeness and perfection. For example, the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and so on. But the 7 trumpets bring no good news. Each blast heralds a new plague upon the earth. The first trumpet brings fire and hail, burning 1/3 of the earth's vegetation. The second trumpet hurls a massive object like a mountain into the sea, turning 1/3 of the oceans into blood and killing 1/3 of marine life. The third trumpet makes a great star fall upon the rivers of the earth, turning the waters bitter and poisonous. The fourth trumpet darkens a third of the sun, shrouding the world in darkness. The fifth trumpet unleashes an angel who releases monstrous locusts, described in terrifying detail, which plague the earth, tormenting people without killing them, even though the afflicted long for death. The sixth trumpet releases 4 angels who kill 1/3 of humanity, reducing the world's population by 1/3. The seventh and final trumpet does not bring destruction. Instead, there is a short interlude in heaven, accompanied by lightning on earth. By this point, however, the waters have turned to blood, the world has been scorched, the sunlight dimmed, and giant locusts roam in search of prey. The book of Revelation paints a truly catastrophic vision, and, believe it or not, even more horrors are yet to come. Next appear 3 great beasts. The first is a massive red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, 2 horns on each head. This dragon is so immense that when it sweeps its tail across the sky, it seems to cast down 1/3 of the stars. We learn that this red dragon is Satan himself, who is suddenly attacked and defeated by the archangel Michael. Satan is expelled from heaven and cast down into the earth, which swallows him. After this strange episode, the true spectacle begins. The arrival of 2 beasts. The first beast rises out of the sea. It looks like a leopard, with the feet of a bear and the mouth of a lion. It has 7 heads and 10 horns, each horn adorned with a crown. One of its heads appears mortally wounded, yet it lives. This beast blasphemes against God and utters all manner of curses against the survivors on earth, survivors who, shockingly, begin to worship the monster. Then the earth opens and a second beast emerges. Compared to the first, its description is vague. We are only told that it has 2 horns like a lamb, but speaks like a dragon. This beast roams the world, promoting the first beast and performing deceptive wonders to prove its legitimacy. Later, this figure becomes known as the false prophet, though in other Christian writings, he is identified as the Antichrist, literally the anti-Messiah. This beast enforces loyalty by marking idolaters with a specific number on their foreheads, the infamous Mark of the Beast, 666. Many biblical scholars have suggested that this number was a coded reference to the tyrannical Emperor Nero. In the ancient world, letters were often assigned numerical values, a practice known as gematria, also used by the Hebrews. When Nero's name is spelled in Hebrew, the letters add up to 666. Moreover, the Book of Revelation states that in order to buy or sell, one must bear the mark of the beast, much like Roman coins, which often bore the head of the emperor as a sign of authority for trade. This is reinforced by the Greek word charagma, commonly used to describe the stamp or engraving on coins. What does Nero have to do with the beast? Nero, who ruled from 54 to 68 AD, was infamous for his relentless persecutions of Christians. He not only sought to eliminate them, but also blamed them for the great fire of Rome. Thus, when Revelation speaks of people worshipping the beast, it is likely an encoded reference to the practice of worshipping the emperor. Those who bear the mark of 666, meaning Nero, are condemned to eternal suffering. While the earth is under the control of these monstrous beasts, representing the Roman emperors, events in heaven are also escalating. The angels prepare for the final stage of destruction. We have seen the 7 seals and the 7 trumpets. Now come the 7 bowls, each filled with the wrath of God. Like the seals and trumpets, when these bowls are poured out upon the earth, catastrophe follows. Here we go again, toward the end. The first bowl is poured upon the earth, and painful sores break out on all those who bear the mark of the beast upon their foreheads. The second bowl turns the entire sea into blood, not just 1/3 of it. The third bowl turns all fresh water, lakes and rivers, into blood. The fourth bowl intensifies the heat of the sun, scorching people on earth. The fifth bowl plunges the kingdom of the beast into darkness, followed by political instability. Some interpret this as a reference to the fall of the Roman Empire. Things keep getting more catastrophic as the bowls are poured out. However, there is a final point to all this devastation: Armageddon. The nations of the world gather for the ultimate battle on the battlefield. And at that moment, a spectacular vision unfolds. The heavens open, and the one riding a white horse, called Faithful and True, appears. He is followed by an army clothed in white linen, riding white horses. They are accompanied by angels and followers. This is the end, the final victory of good over evil. The beast is defeated. A reign of love and justice is established. The earth is renewed, and life continues in peace and harmony. This is the climax of all human history, the moment when everything is restored to its original state of perfection. The book of Revelation reminds us that despite the trials and tribulations we face, in the end, light will always prevail over darkness. The sixth bowl dries up the river Euphrates, located in modern-day Iraq. Soon after, the armies of the world gather for battle at a place called Armageddon. Interestingly, the Hebrew word for Armageddon is Har Megiddo, referring to Mount Megiddo in northern Israel. Over time, Megiddo transformed into Armageddon and became another name for the apocalypse itself because of the book of Revelation. The seventh bowl is its climax, bringing hailstones, lightning, and a massive earthquake that destroys the city of Babylon. Yet, where Babylon was once a great city of evil in the Old Testament, by the New Testament era, the city had long since become a wasteland, conquered by the Persians about 500 years earlier. So many believe Babylon is a coded reference to the capital of the Roman Empire. Once again, the book of Revelation is speaking in code. After this third and final round of devastation, which may seem a bit excessive, the vision in the book of Revelation nears its end. In fact, it all concludes rather quickly and with little struggle. The first and second beasts are captured by God's armies and thrown into a lake of fire burning with sulfur, likely a reference to hell. Then the great multi-headed dragon, Satan himself, is locked in the abyss and sealed away for 1,000 years. During this time, Jesus descends to reign on earth until all is restored. After 1,000 years, Satan is released, leading to one last epic confrontation. But the Bible's serious ending is somewhat anticlimactic. Fire simply falls from heaven, consuming the army of evil. Satan and all his monstrous allies are thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur to join the beasts, and their corrupting influence finally comes to an end. The book of Revelation closes, and with it, the entire Bible ends on a hopeful note. A vision of something called the New Jerusalem, a glorious new city made of pure gold. John, our protagonist, goes to great lengths to describe its dimensions, revealing that the New Jerusalem is a massive cube, 12,000 stadia in length, width, and height, about 2,220 kilometers or 1,380 miles. In this city, God, Jesus, and all the multi-eyed creatures live together in eternal harmony. This vision of a strange, almost science fiction-like construction brings the book of Revelation to a close, and with it, the Bible itself. Without question, Revelation is the most mysterious and unusual book of the Bible, ending in a whirlwind of fire, earthquakes, bizarre creatures, chaos, and calamity. In such a complex and intricate case as this book, I couldn't possibly explore everything it has to offer. If there are specific aspects that caught your attention in this video, please note them in the comments below. One recurring theme throughout this book, and in many other New Testament texts, is that Jesus will return, bringing the second coming and a fiery cataclysm. The earliest Christian communities believed this would happen in their own lifetimes, but when it didn't, the hope was passed on to later generations, and so it has continued all the way to the present day. Throughout history, theologians and ordinary people alike have tried to determine when the apocalypse will come and whether there will be any warning signs. More recently, 2012 was seen as a possible year for the end of the world, with unfounded fears tied to the Mayan calendar, leading some to believe Earth was on a collision course with a mysterious planet called Nibiru. But the Mayan calendar passed, just as the Gregorian one continues, and here we are, still today. In my opinion, I doubt anyone can ever predict when the end of the world will truly happen. So for now, we can take a breath and relax. Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. It was an absolute journey. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe, leave a like and drop a comment. Many more videos are on the way. I promise. I have so many I'm excited to make. Until next time. Dear friends, thank you so much for joining us in today's video. Your presence here means more than words can express. If this message touched your heart, I kindly invite you to subscribe to Peace Drawn, so together we can continue spreading words of faith, comfort, and hope. Please don't forget to leave your like, as it helps this work reach more people in need of encouragement. We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your reflections and experiences inspire not only us, but the entire community. And finally, if you believe this message can help someone you know, please share this video. You may be the light someone has been waiting for. May God bless you abundantly, and until the next video, may peace always dwell in your heart.